Door number 1, regretfully I stole directly from Charles Dickens, is called Great Expectations. It's my firm belief that everyone has a wellspring of creativity within them. It's a question of tapping into it on a regular basis and in real life. In fact, it's a lot like exercise. You have to practice it day by day, and gradually we're strengthened by it. Every situation, every encounter offers us a creative opportunity. You walk into a room like this one, and you consider how you might remodel it. You meet someone new, and you have many choices as to how to enter into conversation. You lay out a garden, you design a show or a business plan. We all have desires, we all have dreams, and we're all searching for something. But sometimes we don't know quite what that is. And because of that, we're alert to the possibilities around us. Let's call it our creative antennae. And so, not unlike a little child or an artist, and believe me, they do have a lot in common sometimes, the second door leads us to surrender to our senses, to live an experience, and to develop our intuitive instincts. Our world is constantly changing in large and small ways. Sometimes we're the instigators of those changes, but most often we're on the receiving end. Our senses and instincts must remain finely honed. Do we see, hear, taste, smell, and touch everything out there? Do we savor the sensations and the moment, storing up each little experience? Do we infuse ourselves with the sensorial wealth of this world? This journey inward begins with technique, like a good massage, a dance class, a yoga workout, but can only progress if you allow yourself to move beyond analysis and the mechanics and into the moment. And this means you must trust your senses, your intuition, and most of all, yourself. Door number 3 is at the heart of Cirque du Soleil. It's called treasure hunting and creative transformation. Unfortunately, you know it better as recruiting and training. And I suggest that treasure hunting and creative transformation is a sexier term that your employees will buy into more easily. So try it out at the office. As an individual, a leader or creative manager, this means 4 things. Working outside of your comfort zone, trying new things and taking risks, never repeating yourself, and that's the hardest thing to do, and applying your inventiveness or creativity to everyday tasks and problems, as well as to those big new projects. By promoting these notions of treasure hunting and creative transformation, you'll be making a significant long-term investment, not only in your team, but in the growth and success of your company. Door number 4 is really the convergence of the individual with the team. It's called the nurturing environment. As leaders in both business and entertainment, one of our most important responsibilities is to design and build a nurturing environment which is conducive to creativity, productivity, and personal growth. At Cirque, the ideal working space is a fantastical playground in which, although there may be many rules, is also a place where an artist, a designer, or an employee can see the world through the eyes of a child. That is, with curiosity, eagerness, excitement, and playfulness. It has an open and inviting atmosphere which stimulates creative thought and action and takes into consideration that it's difficult to be creative in isolation. In fact, creativity requires stimulation and collaboration. In fact, the key word here is teamwork. Door number 5 is a particularly broad one. How constraints, worldly challenges, cultural differences, and consumer expectations become creative catalysts. It's common knowledge around the world that Cirque du Soleil designers don't like budgets, deadlines, or limited resources. And to be truthful, I don't know any designer in any field who likes those things. Privately, however, even they will admit that these constraints force us to become more resourceful and more creative. They require us to come up with solutions we've not thought of before and actually become motivators for getting the job done. In fact, some of our most inspired ideas have arisen from moderately Spartan situations. Door number 6 is arguably my favorite. It's called risk-taking. Do you ever get burned? Creativity is first and foremost all about courage, a willingness to take risks, to try new things, and to share those experiences with others. As an individual or as a company, complacency is the single biggest risk you will ever take, and most often the least productive. Risk-taking can be defined as the balance of power between continued success and fear of failure. So the moral of this story is that we all have to practice risk-taking. Our fears hold us back, make us cautious. Instead, we need to forge ahead and make a few mistakes and hopefully learn from them too. At Cirque, we call this research and development. If we want employees to take risks, we have to protect them in so doing. And where risk-taking is encouraged, some errors must also be permitted. And finally, we arrive at door 7, keeping it fresh. Once the baby's delivered, how do you help it grow? One of the biggest challenges a creative leader has to face is how to keep the product fresh and how to keep the troop motivated between big challenges. This one I decided to ask our artists and employees for a response. Number 1 at Cirque, we say that the hard-working boss is the best model, particularly when there's a relatively young employee base. People do notice what the boss is doing and how he or she is contributing creatively. As an employee, a leader, or a manager, you also have to commit yourself to looking at your product from an outside perspective. That is, from the point of view of your consumers. In our case, our artistic directors sit in the house night after night, they watch the shows, and they listen to the comments that our spectators make during and after each performance. They're constantly asking themselves what we can do better, and because we're in live entertainment, most often we'll try it. Staying connected with your end product also means watching and supporting its ongoing research and development over the long haul and continually questioning its relevance in today's ever-changing world. Does this product still fit the demands of the market? And finally, by exposing your employees to your product, what I call see the show, wear the clothes, or drive the car, you're encouraging their sense of ownership, cultivating their pride, but you also have to share your success with them. We do this by inviting them to new product launches, like the world premieres of all of our new shows. Most people, when they have world premieres, they have big Hollywood stars, presidents, heads of corporations, etc. And you know what? Our big top holds 2,500 people, and the first 2,500 are employees of Cirque du Soleil. It's our way of thanking them for their commitment, and it's their way of becoming part of the celebration of launching a new product.